And I will say that black people do deal with prejudice. I think every demographic deals with prejudice. There are racist people everywhere. Like, I just don't think systemic racism is an issue anymore in today's society. But I
Bro, I'm trying to keep it chill. I'm trying to keep it chill. It's like if you put somebody on a blind date and they vibe with somebody all the way until like they find out that they're a certain race and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't date that. Yeah, that's very sketchy. We got to unpack what you got going on up there.
I'm proud of my race.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to sing, man. Y'all know that song? Was it by Marvin Gaye? You make me want to shout. Put your hands up and shout. Hey, man, listen, man. I love our culture, man. And welcome back to Mischief Entertainment, man. And it's Black History Month, man. So, you know, we gonna stay on that topic, man. We got, what do black people think about white people? Jubilee. I watched a little bit. I watched the first question. It seems like it's gonna have some interesting topics. So I'm gonna get into it, man. I'm gonna answer some of the questions. I'm gonna let y'all know. We're gonna have a good time, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's it for the intro, man. Let's get into it, man. Hope you've been enjoying Black History Month, man.
Black when I was growing up. And when I first saw the first white kid, I was like, what is that?
Nah, what is that? It's crazy. What is that? It's crazy.
I act differently around people who aren't my race.
Hell no.
3,
I don't care.
2, 1.
I ain't never cared.
I think the most important thing is just to authentically be yourself, and I don't think being around people who don't look like you should be a reason for you to act any different.
Yeah, for me, I guess it's like within the confines of like the workforce.
I was thinking code switching.
Because if you show up to a meeting talking like this, they're like, uneducated, got it. They'll use the slang to sell the products and to tweet and to get the clicks and stuff. But like as soon as a worker's there who's authentically from the area and talking like people from the area, it's like, ooh, we don't like that. You know, because it's always like, well, be yourself until you yourself. And then it's like, ooh, I don't like yourself. Unfortunately, in a lot of the areas of work, it's like you almost have to like lie to these people to be like, I'm a robot. I'll like, you know, I love your company. Yeah. You know, it's sick. It's sick. But it's like, you have to get, you know.
True. Like, I feel like code switching is one part, but also like there's certain parts in my own community that aren't accepted, that when I'm around different people that look like me, I can express myself differently. Like, I feel like if I talk a little proper, sometimes I get a little slack for it from my side of the family. But when I go out into the world, sometimes I like EDC, I like tech music, I like, you know what I'm saying?
See, for me, I feel like it has nothing to do with race. It more has to do with just being professional. Like, if I'm at work, then I'm obviously going to be a little more proper, you know, a little bit less slang and all of that, and just more careful with my rhetoric, but I don't think it has to do with race. The only thing I will say is, like, I work in political media, so I'm on camera a lot, so people already know who I am and what I'm coming with. But that being said, it's like when I'm around other black people, because I'm a Republican, sometimes they tend to be really standoffish with me or think that I don't understand the culture and all this different stuff. So sometimes I have to feel it out, like, are these people who are just gonna call me an Uncle Tom, or are these people like I can actually just keep it all the way real with? So that's the only time I feel like I act different because of race.
For me, it really depends because I've been shooting music videos in the hood, so I really need to basically adopt myself to become a black person. So for me, it's not a problem like meeting new races. I always like vibe and chill with people.
Do you think adapting yourself to those different ethnicities is like something that's required to foster like a successful relationship?
Like, I would say it's really more for your survival because, you know, like if you are the only white guy on set and like there's like people with like guns and stuff and, you know.
I've been trying so long just to listen and because I was going to give y'all my take. This guy is tripping. He is tripping. Listen, if you filming music videos in the hood, right? Like, ain't nobody gonna mess with you, bro. Unless you're doing, like, some weird stuff, bro. You just, like... And then, if they kind of sketchy, then you don't do business with somebody who not professional. Like, I don't know. He said he has to switch because Yeah, I honestly just I don't know, man. He making the hood sound very sketchy right there. You know what I'm saying? And it's sketchy stuff that going on in the hood, but some sketchy stuff that going on in the burbs too. You know, that's life. You gotta watch out everywhere. You feel me? Don't be out here just being gullible. You feel me? Don't get mad at the hood for that. You can't be gullible in the hood. You can't be gullible in the burbs. You can't be gullible in business plans and shit like that. You feel me? So
You just really need to like fit in and just be chill with it.
You're from the Ukraine, right? Do you feel like not having grown up with American culture as a whole, and then especially not growing up with our subcultures, do you feel like that's influenced the way you move when you're moving between our subcultures?
My like mentality is kind of mixed because like from the age of like 13, I really started to learn English. From that, I really learned a lot. Like I really got the American like mentality more. And basically like my mentality is like mixed because like in Ukraine, if we see a black person, we call them the N-word.
what? Whoa, y'all are capping over there, bro. I ain't even go. Y'all just turned me up, man. We not even like that, bro. We cool with everybody. The hood is just listen. We be on real stuff in the hood. You feel me? But you gotta be on some real stuff. You calling us what for? What? What? Okay, Ukraine, y'all is canceled. I ain't going over there. Shout out him for telling the truth. Yo, you're wild.
And from our side, it's not offensive. Like we say it not from a offensive way, but some people can because, you know, like you don't see a black person there.
I can understand that because I went to a school that was predominantly black when I was growing up. And when I first saw the first white kid, I was like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it was a white girl with like red hair, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I understand that, like, when a white person comes to a predominantly black group, then you're going to try your best to adapt to that, to our culture, to be like, okay, hey, I get along with you. This is my way of like telling you, like, hey, this is, I'm like extending an olive branch, basically. So.
Nah, man, listen, be yourself. Be yourself. They talk about code switching and all of this. It's really just a maturing thing. All of these people look like they're like 25 and up, to be honest, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not code switching for nobody. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I talk like this all the time. If me talking like this offends you, that's a you thing. But yeah, that's just me and my growing of life. Like I talk however I want to talk. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Sometimes I say dude, sometimes I say bro. You know, sometimes I use different words, but you gotta learn to be yourself, okay? You can't let a lot of this stuff affect you. And I'm gonna blame social media because I feel like a lot of social media does that. Like, it's very cool to be black until you got black problems. I've heard that before, and that's just how I feel. Like when it comes to music, dancing, posting memes, and all of this, it's a lot of black slang and all of that I feel like they steal from the culture a lot. But when it comes to really like black problems, you know they're not in it. So as far as that, like I get offended if you act too black and you don't know enough about the culture. I guess that's where I'm gonna take it. And then code switching, bro, just figure out who you is. Okay? Figure out who you is as a person, because we don't do code switching, okay? Just be yourself.
Yeah. Personally, not to sound triggered, but I just don't like the notion that you're becoming a black person by pretending to be hood or adopting a hood mentality, because not all black people are hood, not all black people are ghetto. I understand what you're trying to say, and I don't know if it's a language barrier, so I don't want to like come at you like you're saying something racist, but I just really am anti-black people being defined as ghetto and hood, because there's a lot of classy black people out there.
Yes, there's a lot of intelligent Afro-Americans out there, and it really like depends on like where you grew up in.
Also, if you are hood and ghetto like me, you can also be all those things too.
White people also experience race-based prejudice.
A little bit, but not enough for them many people to be going to the right. Not enough for it to be a problem or issue like it is in the hood and for black people. That's where I'm going to take this. They got me turned up. Look at all these people going to the right. I had to think about it for a little minute, but that's just because I'm trying to be fair. Like, what consequences they get? Born with good credit? Trusted when they're walking at night? Not having the police stop and check on them? Huh? What type of okay, tell me.
Since you guys probably don't know,
Strongly
I have lived
agree.
overseas.
Why are there so many
I've
people
lived
on the
in-
strongly agree? Y'all better have some good stories and good reasons, bro. Cause this is killing me right now.
Asian countries. In Japan, there are certain restaurants and stuff like that that you could walk into. You can see people dining in the restaurant, and they're gonna tell you they're closed, just because you're white or you're American.
You mad about that? You're mad about that? We were in chains and we got whipped. And you can't eat in a restaurant in Japan? Come on, bro. Stop playing with me.
So the idea that white people can't really experience racism kind of contradicts the very definition of the word, because the definition of racism is prejudice based on one's skin color. White people do experience it, but to a different degree.
While I do think that our white brothers and sisters in Christ can experience racial-based prejudice, I don't want to overlook the nuance of that prejudice.
Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. This is what I'm saying. Listen, she talked about I went over to Japan and they wouldn't let me dine in a restaurant, right? I wake up every day and I have to deal with this. I don't have to go to Japan. Us as black people, we don't have to go anywhere. All we have to do is live our life in our skin. So, although sometimes these things may happen to you over the period of your life, how many times did it happen? One time, couple, 4 times? How old are you? So how many times did it happen? I deal with this every day. Us as a black people, as culture, deal with this every day. So for you to sit up there, or for anybody to sit up there and be like, oh, we go through what y'all go through because we couldn't eat at a restaurant, or these small things. These things affect our very life and our ability to live life healthy. When it reaches that extent for y'all, then yes, the answer is yes. But until then, I don't want to hear it, bro. This is the wrong video for me to click on Black History Month, because I'm turning
Because it's
up.
not necessarily rooted in anything systematic or anything that's going to actually have long-term effects, knock on wood, that are going to like debilitate a race or inhibit their chances or possibility of succeeding or being seen as better than POC.
I definitely think it's a non-issue, racism towards white people, especially specifically, I want to, like, in America. I don't think it's something that needs to be highlighted as an issue that is a constant threat to lives, day-to-day well-being, progress and success in life in general.
Because it's
not something that's going to inhibit you, and you don't have to walk out your door and think, I'm about to be attacked, like people of color do every single day.
I do agree that white people haven't been put through centuries of hell like black people were, but prejudice towards white people 100% exists. Like, whether it's in TV, if it's in movies, like if you watch predominantly black media, there's a lot of roasting towards white people that if it was the other way around, that would never be acceptable today. Then you go on social media like TikTok and you look up white people are bad. You will see videos where they're attacking white people for things that their ancestors did 200 years ago. There are societal benefits at this point for being a person of color, and that those negatively affect white people. Like, if you look at affirmative action, diversity quotas in the workplace, all these different things, they lower the bar for black people, but then increase the bar for white people. However, I think where some of the issue comes is because a lot of marginalized groups and people of color back in the day went through so much worse that it's easy for us to discredit the prejudice that white people now deal with today.
Discredit. What are we discrediting? What are we discrediting? What are we discrediting? And I ain't got no prejudice towards white people. White people cool. White people funny. White Man Can't Jump was funny. I love Jack Harlow. All that type of stuff. Listen, you made me mad because you said I go on social media. You could go on TikTok and you can look up. They have a whole group called the KKK where they gathered. They gathered in groups around the country. Was this before social media? How did they manage and organize this? Oh my, I can't. See, you just, it's just, it's just, like I said, our well-being, our life, generational lines has been affected, okay? And to sit up here and be like, oh, white people have white people problems too. Asian people have Asian people problems. Africans have African problems, okay? But did something happen to set back their generations? Were there laws and was there crimes that happened to them over years and years? Okay, are they still dealing with those effects to this very day? on the level that black people is? Like, come on, bro. Like, you got so specific with it. If you go on TikTok and you look, I don't got to, as a black person, all I gotta do is wake up. That's all I gotta do. I don't need social media. I just gotta wake up. All I gotta do is be alive and I experience these prejudice. Okay? So I don't care about none of these specific examples. I went to this one restaurant and they did it. I went on TikTok and I looked up, I don't care. When all you gotta do is be alive as an African American person to experience prejudice throughout your life. Come on, man. Come on.
I think like on an individualistic level, like yeah, white people get hate all the time. But I think if you zoom out and you look at the big picture, it's a little bit different. And like talking about like YouTube having, you know, racist content for anyone out there, it's like I would have to go and seek that out versus it like coming to me. Versus like on Twitter.
Against white people?
Yeah, I would have to like look for a video being like, oh, people who hate white people.
I agree.
Like versus like Twitter, I don't have to scroll very long before I see some person making some out-of-pocket comment about
and regulation
some shit.
being lifted so people can see that even more so.
Right.
Absolutely, that's 100% right. And even saying affirmative action, statistically and on paper, white people, white women were benefiting more from affirmative action at colleges than any other demographic. So I also don't think that's fair to say, but I definitely get what you mean. And again, I think the prejudice is still there though.
And I will say that black people do deal with prejudice. I think every demographic deals with prejudice. There are racist people everywhere. Like, I just don't think systemic racism is an issue anymore in today's society, but
Bro, I'm trying to keep it chill. I'm trying to keep it chill. I'm so trying to keep it chill. I'm so trying to keep it chill.
I do think that there are racist people out there.
I think that there's a really important distinction. Our language is constantly evolving, and you were talking about the definition of racism. Our societal definition has changed to include a systemic part of it. And I completely disagree with this idea that people of color don't have systemic things against them still. Because the fact that we still have the KKK, the fact that we still have these things, and they are in positions of power. As long as that exists, and as long as that's a part of our country's like makeup right now, which it is, and that's our power structure, I don't feel like you can honestly deny systemic racism against the black community, which is why prejudice is so different from racism. I don't think white people can experience racism in this country, but we can experience prejudice based on the societal definitions we now use.
Being sexually unattracted to a race is racist.
I think where the line gets
I agree. Cause I think it's weird, honestly. Like, yeah, it's just weird.
drawn is when if a white male was sitting there swiping and he's just like, I don't like black girls, they're all ugly. They have too big of lips. I think that's where the line gets drawn. But you can't really help what you're attracted to. Like, my fiance is Mexican, and it's like, I like him for who he is, not how he looks.
I think that we are conditioned to be attracted and to respond to people that we grow up and around with. So homogeneously, we grow up with people who look like us. So when you move into dating and things like that, statistically, you're going to be attracted to people that you grew up seeing, right? However, when you are discrediting a certain race for whatever reason based off their ethnicity, meaning everybody who exists, is existing, and will exist from that race, you are not feeling anything. Cute, I don't control your body or your thoughts, but on one hand, I'm like, let's maybe unpack that. Also, where's
Thank you, let's unpack that, you feel me? Now, let me ask you a question. You put somebody on a blind date, all right? And say like they're blindfolded and stuff too, so like it's like a secret blind date or whatever, they don't get to meet the person. But it's like, say this person, you could do like this social experiments, right? Where you put this person with this person, and at the end, they're like, okay, we're going to unveil who the person is. And the person turned out to be not from a race they wanted to. And they're like, yeah, I know, like, would you feel like that's racist? I feel like that's racist. I feel like that would be very sketchy. If like, if you put somebody on a blind date and they vibe with somebody all the way until, like, they find out that they're a certain race and they're like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't date that. Yeah, that's very sketchy. We got to unpack what you got going on up there. We ain't saying like you got to go out tribute into every race and date one of these and date one of these and get one of these a try and one of those a try. But when you like, yeah, that's sketchy. That's sketchy. That's sketchy what you got going on up there.
That's none of our business. Stop doing that. Keep that to yourself. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear it.
That too, just kind of like keep it to yourself. But then again, still, it's kind of sketchy.
I think that like we're talking about conditioning and how we grew up, right? If you go to like South Africa, for instance, which within some of our lifetimes had apartheid. If you grow up in that, especially as a black person, where you're constantly being mistreated by every single white person, and you're conditioned to be like, white person, no thank you, I don't think that's racist.
I agree, and I did not grow up in South Africa with apartheid.
Yeah.
However, like I said,
used
the
it
nickname
extreme.
of my town was Clancy. Like a lot of my interactions growing up were incredibly racist, and I'm dating a white guy. So I totally get what you mean. I don't want to discredit black people or anyone who's had those kind of situations, because it's not that they're not dating white people. It's
Yeah.
definitely, it's more like they're cautious.
I think you used the perfect word earlier. Is it conditioned or?
I was thinking about it on the terms of me being a black woman. I feel like it's a lot different when it is a black woman going into dating someone that is not of their race. I can tell you from my experience with dating Hispanic men, white, whatever, they've only seen Jerry Springer and Maury. So it's like they have a whole different idea of what a black woman is. Like before my husband changed a lot, one of the comments made to me was he was afraid of me going to his house with braids in my hair, because then they would assume that I was a different kind of girl instead of looking at me for who I am.
I have been denied access because of my race.
Kinda, yeah. Kinda, yeah.
I can go anywhere, I can sit down anywhere, and I am not going to be denied because of how I look. And I would be ignorant to not admit that.
And I'm gonna counter that with we are justifiably not let into spaces. And our whiteness takes away access to things like powwows. And there's an island in Hawaii that's only for natives or for like safe spaces for black communities or whatever else. We are justifiably denied access because of our skin.
Period. We love the nuance.
The thing about Hawaii, though,
Yeah.
Hawaii is stolen land. I believe that they have every right to be able to say only we're allowed to go here, because that
Justifiably.
was theirs. It was literally stolen land that was stolen by white people.
Yes. No, but that's why
Yeah.
it's justifiably, it's still denied access.
Yeah.
But it is justifiable, 100%, don't
Yeah,
let me
it's
in.
denied access, but it's justifiable. But it's like in my own day-to-day life,
It's just, bro, y'all can't complain about a lot of stuff, cause right, y'all stole land from Hawaii, right? They didn't give it to y'all, so I know y'all went over there and y'all killed a whole bunch of people. Y'all took it, y'all messed up some stuff, and you're sitting up here like, oh, now they won't let us in. Who cares? How many people did y'all kill when y'all went over there and took it over? And oh, now they won't let us in. Who cares? That's why it's just like,
can go anywhere. I can sit
You
down
look stupid
anywhere. I
complaining.
can go read a book in a library. I can go to Starbucks. People don't fear me because of how I look, and so they don't feel the need to be like, you can't be here.
But like in your day-to-day life, are you being denied
okay,
access?
there we go. I agree. That's what I've done stuff before and have people like question me on why I'm there. I ain't even gonna lie. I have. And at my day and age, I don't even tell people nothing no more. If you feel a certain type of way, feel a certain type of way. Being black ain't a crime. I'm not, who are you to question me on what I'm doing here or why I'm around here or whatever? Maybe I live over here. Maybe I was hooping. Maybe I went for a jog. Okay? Just because I'm black don't mean I'm suspicious. Okay? You got to work on that. You probably got to work on the media you take in. You got to go out and get around some culture or something. Like I said, it's y'all in here. Okay? Okay? It's in there. Figure y'allselves out. Okay?
That's like, are you trying to go to that island? That they
No.
won't let you? Okay.
Then I think that's a really good question. Has it happened? I guess. Because, like,
would
are you
say
seeking
yeah.
those spaces then?
I'm not necessarily seeking them. If I am already aware that this is like, hey, this is for us, not for you. I'm not gonna show up and be like, yeah, but like, I'm a cool white person. But there are spaces that we are not allowed, and I think that's okay.
No, it is okay. But if you're not actively seeking to be part of those circles, you're not being denied access to them.
I will agree with that.
Sure, and I can say that maybe those are not the best examples, but like I think especially because my social circles are predominantly people of color, there are definitely things where they're like, where I've had them be like, this is not a conversation for you, and I'm like, okay. I have had those experiences. I'm okay with them. I want to be clear. Like, I think there should be spaces that aren't for me, and that is okay. But they've existed and they've been in my life.
I have just one rule.
And they affect your life? How do they affect your life? They affect your life so much, don't they? They just affect everything about you. Like, man, you woke up and it affected your life so much. Like, it affected your family's life and all of that. It just affected your life.
Really specific example. Otherwise, I feel like in general, I'm not denied access because of my race, just in my experience. But I had an ex whose stepfather was wildly racist, like Nazi memorabilia, like just insane individual. And I was never allowed over her house because of him. And the one time that I kind of snuck in, he was staring at me through the window. And I'll never forget that in my life, the way that man was staring at me through the window and then cursed.
Look, man, this is just, man. You know, I've been followed by the police by just driving, okay? I've been followed in the stores for simply existing. Now, I wouldn't say denied, but paid extra attention and almost being questioned why I'm there. Yeah, it happens often to black people all the time, especially if you look like me or you're from or where I'm from, you feel me? So to sit up here and have these conversations like it's affecting white people so much, like, do you know what it must be? Just imagine what it must be like to be an African-American person and go through life and always be seen as dangerous or suspicious. Think about what that could do to your psyche as a person, as an individual growing up. You know what I'm saying? And y'all want to talk about, I can go on social media and look up these certain groups and they hate white people. You can do the same thing for black people. There's these certain people who wouldn't date white people. There's also people who don't date black people. Y'all are complaining about problems that everyday problems, okay? And when people start enslaving y'all people, right? And even think about slavery and racism to the fullest, bro. They would hang black people and bring people out like it was a festival. And they would sell popcorns and snacks and people would watch and celebrate. This was a real thing in real life. And the things that they're sitting up here talking about, like, but yeah, also white people, like, say it one time, okay? Because for me, it's like, y'all don't deal with that much, okay? Not in the way that black people deal with, okay? The stuff I've had to go through, I can list numerous examples, numerous stuff all day, and I wake up and it's like this. I was born and it's like this, and there's nothing I can do about it, okay? And y'all sitting up here complaining because you can go on TikTok and look up something specific. You're complaining because you can't go to a specific island.
Out his kids for having me in the house. That man's now in prison for doing God knows what, but it's where he belongs.
I was looking for funding for my film, and most of them are for colored people, and I totally understand that. And there is like not many that I found that are for like everybody. My mind would be like, you know, damn, I cannot do it. Like I cannot apply to it. But from the other side, I understand that the black community, like you guys need to get your movies out there.
If anything, I feel like I've been invited too much. You know, I feel like I'm kind of like an undercover agent where I'm like because I talk a certain way or because I present myself a certain way, they assume like, oh, I could say this in front of you.
100%.
And I'm like, what'd you say?
Exactly.
You know, I've never really been.
Now I'll say that too. I've been tokenized so many times.
I'm like, I don't want
like,
that.
We have to have you here. We need young black representation. And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah.
I am proud of my race.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to sing, man. Y'all know that song? Was it by Marvin Gaye? You make me want to shout. Put your hands up and shout. Hey, man, listen, man. I love our culture, man. Don't ever let anybody make y'all feel ashamed of our culture, okay? We got a great culture, okay? Don't ever be ashamed of your skin color, okay? I love my skin. I love my culture. You probably strongly agree. I'm finna walk off the stage. I'm walking off the stage. I'm going all the way to the right. You feel me?
3, 2, 1.
I will go first, and I will stand 10 toes in.
I was just being ironic to stand over there.
Okay, baby. I was like, please no. I was here. I cried a little bit.
I'm
I
being
think
messy.
that, like, and I'll just keep it specific to my experience or what I know. As Black Americans, we're pretty much the top culture that gets replicated,
Talk about it. Talk about it. Shout it out.
friends. People scoot in and scoot out because they want to seem cool and interesting and stuff. And I think that that's so kind of us to like kind of like be beaten down for so long and be kind of separated from our African roots, create names for ourselves, culture, language around our identities as Black Americans, and have that be a thing that's just reverberating across the globe. I think that's so cute, can never be replicated, can never be understated, and I love that about it.
That was kind of the start of my thought process too, just the basis of being torn down so adamantly, so regularly for hundreds of years in law even. It is insane that we are here today to even be on camera, to even be in a place with other white people. It is a beautiful thing that we have been able to flourish in such dirt, literal filth and grime that our ancestors had to go through, and even our grandparents had to go through. In my 8th grade yearbook I saw recently, it said, the South will rise again. And this was 2015. So this is such a day-to-day thing, and I am proud to be Black, and it's hard to say that. It was hard to say that as a kid, or else I could be called the N-word, I could be reprimanded, and I feel so blessed to even be able to think that.
Everybody needs to be proud of their race and stop this racist bullshit, because you could be green, red, Black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter.
I agree with what you're saying, because my own personal belief is that at the basis of who we are is that we're all just people. We're not a skin tone. But because of those before me, I now have to fight back against the idea that all white people are racist. I remember being in 4th grade and learning about the Holocaust for the first time and saying, I don't want to be German anymore. Meanwhile, my mother's whole family is German. American history, you look at things like slavery, you look at things like Jim Crow laws, segregation. There is so much awful stuff that has happened and is still happening in closeted ways that I cannot be proud of the way that I look.
Yeah, for me, I am proud of who I am, who I grew up to be. I like who I am. But if I were to say I'm
all the white people on the left side, real quick, shout out to all the good white people out there, man. We love y'all, we really do, man. You know the hood mess with y'all, the Black people mess with y'all, all the good white people out there, man. We love Pete Davidson. You know what I'm saying? We love Pete Davidson. Hey, man, hey, but for real though, be for real. Shout out y'all, man. Hey, and if you really is a good white person out there, no, we don't really hold it against you for what happened in the past. But if you a horrible white person, oh yeah, it's up.
proud white man,
It's up.
I don't even know
Ain't
what
no
that
forgiveness,
means.
okay? You feel me?
There have been 0 racial hurdles in my life. Now, I'm a proud gay man because I've had to go through shit to get to where I am now. And even to that point, so much of queer culture comes from Black culture, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to be proud of the things I've done, the people who I've touched, whose hearts I've opened up. I feel like it's beyond our race. I feel like what it is our experiences that make our light shine through. So that's what I'm proud of, actually. Yeah.
I think that there's a really big difference between being proud to be Black and being proud to be white. So being proud of your culture, beautiful thing. Be proud to be Ukrainian. I'm proud to be Slavic. The Black community is different, and the reason it's different is because their culture, specifically Black Americans, their culture was stripped away from them when they were brought over here. So then the culture became being Black American. The race became cultural.
I mixed that up.
So
Sorry about the hate.
Yeah, but so I think that there's a really big difference between I am proud of my people are Slavic, versus I am proud of my race. It just gets convoluted because Black Americans, the race has become the culture because the culture was stripped away.
I also think oftentimes when you talk about white pride versus Black pride, oftentimes Black pride is rooted in love and perseverance of
True,
culture.
very, very true. That's a great point, man. Oftentimes, even back in the day, white pride has been very anti-other people, anti-other races.
Language and things like that, and white pride is often rooted in
say it,
Black hate,
say it,
Black
Facts.
hate,
Facts.
Asian hate. So I think that's an interesting nuance to not overlook.
No, and I think that's such an important point. I think there's a difference between I'm proud and therefore I'm better versus I am proud of what we have overcome.
Yeah, and then the whole idea of white pride started with people who think the Confederate flag is a personality trait. So how can I be proud of that?
Dragged it.
I'm not saying that this applies to any of you, but I meet a lot of white people, particularly white liberals, who will actively say that they're ashamed of being white. And that is wild to me, because how can you look at your past and because, yes, your race did terrible things in the past, but you shouldn't define yourself as that. If anything, you should look at that and reflect.
So do you think white people should be proud to be specifically white?
See, I think that's a really nuanced question when you're white, because I think you guys had the valid point of ethnicity is different, because like white isn't a collective culture in the way that black is, because black people have been grouped together and have a similar experience. But like white, like Italian American, you should definitely be proud of being Italian American. You should be proud of being Slavic American. You should be proud of your lineage. But just to say, oh, I'm proud to be white, like, yeah, that has a weird connotation to it because it's not a collective
basically,
culture.
if you're from
But
America,
what I really want to emphasize is
don't
that
be
you
proud of
should
that.
not be ashamed of being white in the way that a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should.
Okay.
You probably
At
know
that
about
point,
it.
it's on you.
Hey man, we made it to the end of the video, man. I yelled a lot. Very interesting video, bro. I hope you enjoyed the video, man. I tried to keep my chill. I think I made some important takes, said some important points. Move in love, man. If you're moving out of hate, you're weird. We don't like you. We don't rock with you. All of that. Yeah, just move out of love, man. It's too much hating and angry and all of that going around. And yeah, that's basically the final message I can say, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. We out.